Hello. Once again, we shall be going over the cards getting added to the arena for Hearthstone Witcherwood expansion. Let's go. If you watched the previous video, or this might be the first video, who knows that you're watching, we are rating from 1 being amazing, down to 5 being unplayable, 3 being average, and just making sure that things are working. I want to get this out of here, but oh well. We'll just have to deal with it. So we're going through the neutral minions. We went through the class minions already, so this should be a bit quicker, a bit simpler. Instead of having class reviews, we're going to have archetype ratings. So we're going to look at the cards, then we're going to see, is this good for aggro, mid-range, control? Is it a good card in general? And then after we've seen all the cards, we're going to see, did they add a lot of control tools, right, on average? Did they add a lot of mid-range tools on average? Did they add a lot of aggro tools on average? And then also we'll look at the average for legendary minions, the average for epics, rares, and there's a big pool, but someone's got to do it. You know? So let's get started. I don't know. Snapping is nice. First card is Soul Thief. Replace your hand with a copy of your opponent's. So this card, I think, is strictly an aggro card. It is not for control. No, it's not for control. It's not really for mid-range. It's kind of something where you want to dump everything in your hand by turn 7. Then you've topped this, or you have this turn 7, and you play it, and you get a hand, right? Other than that, it's not really going to be powerful. But in the aggro mindset, maybe in like Hunter or something, and you just dump your whole hand, it could be a powerful card. So I don't think people are saying this card is very bad. I don't think it's very bad. I think it has some potential, and you have to draft with it in mind. But it's not unplayable. So I think I'm gonna give it in most circumstances it's going to be below average. So I'm gonna give it a 3.5. Not unplayable, but if you are in the aggro mindset, good for you. So I don't know how I'm doing this archetype rating. I might like just put a dash for every single type card that we're going to see, right? So if we see like an aggro card, we'll put an aggro in there, and then we can kind of see, oh, how many cards I think is aggro, how many cards I think is mid range, how many cards I think is control. All right, then you can kind of get a visual representation of what we're dealing with. The easier way to do is just to tab these so that they are like the same, but we'll just leave it like that. Okay, so next card we have Baku. I don't think you can get this, right? Don't think you can get this, so I'm gonna skip this. This would be cool though. Like, it'd be interesting if you could get this first pick and then it would only give you odd cards. Like, that would be cool. That would be let's move the rating. That would be pretty cool, right? But that would also be game breaking and completely weird. So let's get past these two. Okay, so we have Dull Master Dorian. Whenever you draw a minion, summon a 1/1 copy of it. Not bad at all. Like, you can definitely make this work. This is more of a mid-range or even control card, right? Yeah, it's not mid-range. It doesn't have the stats to be mid-range. This is strictly a control card. So you have to make this. This has to stay alive, which is possible. Like on turn 5, if there's an empty board on turn 5, and you play Dull Master. Yeah, and then you draw a card, you get a 1/1 of it. Like, it could be good, right? If you hit Worm or something. Like, the card I think is going to be average as well. Like, I don't think in Arena you're going to be able to get some kind of, you might like win the game off of it, but you're probably not. I'm gonna say this is actually 2.5 because a 5/5 that summons a 1/1, I think is okay. Is like okay, right? And the fact that you can draw like death rattle effects and make it like amazing, or like there's a lot of cards that could just make this nasty. Um, I'm gonna bump it up to a 2.5, and I think this is a control card. I don't really think this is looking at aggro. You wouldn't really play this in aggro or mid range, but that's fine. And I think this is the last legendary. Yep. Draw a Rush, Lifesteal, and Death Rattle card from your deck. Holy moly macaroni! It's a new curator, and it's thick. It's got great stats, and you get 3 cards, and it's easy. It should be easy to get a Rush and Death Rattle minion. Lifesteal might be a little bit difficult depending on your class, but 6/7 mana, 6/6, draw 2 cards. Hell yes, sign me up. This card is amazing. So good stuff here. That is this is definitely a mid-range card, right? I would say like it's a mid-range card, right? So it could also be control, right? But it's leaning mid-range. Yeah. It plays on turn 7, yeah. And this could even be aggro. It's not aggro, but I'll stick to mid range. So what do I think about the legendary minions? This is sick. This is okay, and then this one is probably the weakest of the bunch, but could work. I'd say on average they're looking maybe a 2.5. I would say like some of these cards are gonna be okay. Some of these are gonna be There's only 3 cards, so it's kind of hard to make an average of them. Like, you might just add them up, divide by. But that's how I feel right now. Epic cards. Oh, I'm like, what is this called? Epic cards. Nightmare Amalgam. Nightmare Amalgam, right? Amalgam. Yeah, that sounds better. This is a everything except for Silverhand Recruit, right? Because there's a lot of Silverhand Recruit synergy. This doesn't get affected by level up, which would be so it's a good stats. 3 mana, 3/4 is good stats. The only issue is that it dies to everything. And it buffs everything, but it also dies to everything. Right? It's good though, right? You're gonna feel bad when he gets eaten by a crab or the other crab or the Dragon Slayer. But other than that, it's gonna be a decent. If it didn't have pirate synergy, if it didn't have if it didn't have some of the bad synergies, real like synergy, right? It'd be great. But since it's not, it's got those synergies in there. It'll go down to above average. I'd say this is hard to figure out what type of everything plays in everything. So I'm not gonna. It's not a strictly archetype rating. Doesn't matter. Muck Hunter, Rush, summon 2/2/1 Mucklings for your opponent. So you play this and you play Warpath. Laughing there. This looks okay. 5/4 charge. Looks okay. The fact that you get to rush, nice. Like you might rush a 5/5, right? Like you Muck Hunter, you kill a 5/5, then they trade the 2/1s back. Or if you're playing, like, it depends on your class, right? Like, a lot of these depend on classes, right? Like, if you're playing Rogue, this is a much better card. Because you rush, you kill something, you dagger the right. It's kind of hard to to find like the a ranking if depending because a lot of them depend on the classes that are. I'd say in general it's going to be quite average. Like if you just look at it like in base on an empty board, right? It's a 5/4 or 5, which is below average, but the fact that it has rush gives it makes. So I'm gonna give it average. That's Witch Cauldron. After a friendly minion dies, add a random Shami spell to your hand. So they're giving every class access to whatever. 3 mana 0/4 is horrible. Having random Shami spells is so questionable too. And having friendly minions die, like how do you pull that off effect where you're happy? It's got all the makings of not a great card. It's probably quite bad. It's not average, right? This ain't average. It's not unplayable. It's almost getting there, to be honest. It's almost getting unplayable. It might be 4.5. I don't think you want this card in your deck. Yeah, you don't want this. Voodoo Doctor. Voodoo Doll. Choose a minion, destroy a minion. This is pretty sick. Because even if you don't have a ping class, right? Like it's sick in ping classes, right? In Rogue and Stiff, you choose a minion, you ping it off. Well, like it's just mage. It's sick in mage because you can't ping on if you're in minion classes. But if you're like also in warrior, so warrior and mage, nice card, right? You hit it, you ping it, you murder the minion. Sick. But what is really great about this card is that even if you don't have a ping, like, okay, they play Sleepy Dragon, you target Sleepy Dragon. What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do? They're gonna not attack the minion. They're going to trade, somewhere. They're gonna trade with their Sleepy Dragon. Then you're gonna bump into the Sleepy Dragon, and the Voodoo Doll dies, and the Sleepy Dragon's like, why me? Oh. So it looks good. It looks good, and it costs 3 mana. Very easy requirement. You can play this anytime. Play it on 3, you're happy. Play it on 4, you're happy. Play it on 5, you're still pretty doing good with yourself. This card looks pretty amazing, actually. Like it's probably really sick. Like it's a good removal, right? We need more of those. It's a bit slow, right? The only weakness is that I'm giving it 1.5. The only weakness is that if you need to kill a minion immediately, and it can't do that for you. If you can, holy moly, get wrecked, son. Disgusting card. Really solid. Or an Abomination. At the end of your turn, deal 2 damage to all other damage minions. This could be really good. And the fact that it doesn't hurt itself is really good. It's like a Baron Geddon, right? Just not... It might even be better, right? You're not hitting your own minion. Throw them up or whatever. I think this card is probably really good. Probably great. I'll give it a 2. Just because you can bump into things, right? You can bump into things. You can ping things with if you're the worst, aren't they? Just the worst. Just the nastiest. But it's got a flexible removal tool, and you can make it work really well. It could be a Drake. It almost has the level of Drake potential in the right situations. It's a decent card. Moss Horror. It is a Shadowwood Horror, and then you're paying 2 mana for a 2/7. How's that fair? Right? It's a good thing Pint-Sized Potion's leaving. Right? This is gonna be a Warlock card. I'm gonna tell you that right now. This is gonna be a Warlock card. I've completely forgotten about my my archetype rating. Lol. Completely forgot about that. But let's figure out what this card is doing for us here. So it's going to probably you're probably gonna see it. You're probably gonna see this card, yeah. And unfortunately, there's no pint-sized potion, so it's gonna be harder to find synergy. I looked at all the class cards, and the other class card that really can remove any attack, it just might be a warlock card. It's also a aggro. I think it's gonna be average. Like you're not gonna see it in most classes. Like it's not going to do anything for most classes. But if you are playing an aggro style, maybe. But at six, it's so slow. Like by the time it's turn 6, you're probably dead. This is how you're coming back, and yeah, I think it's fair. Gonna be aggro. Let's actually fix up the. I know this is a control card. This is more mid range than control. Oh. Voodoo Doctor is everything. Witch Cauldron is. What the hell is this? Mid range? Card sucks. You just don't pick it. It's a nothing. Don't pick the card, so I'm not gonna put it in there. Muck Hunter is mid range. Could also be. It's a little bit worse than control. Yeah. Okay. There's no aggro cards so far. Yeah. Festering, this is definitely control. But yeah, okay, so it summons two 2/2s, which summon 2 1/1s. So it's a bit it has more stats than a worm, but it's easier to kill, and silence wrecks this thing. I don't think it's actually good. I think no one's gonna attack into it. Like you play it and then no one attacks into it. And you have to keep attacking, and you can't even threaten damage with it. Pushing for 4. Try to go face, it doesn't. Right, you want people to kill this, so you're gonna trade with this. So you play this, they play their minion, they go face, right, and then you have to trade into your minion, trading into a 4, so they summon like a 5/5. Doesn't help you, and they just keep going face. They're gonna attack. They will attack into the 1/1. They're probably just able. Yeah, this looks bad. It doesn't look good, actually. It's worse than Worm. It's a much worse Worm. Just because the attack isn't threatening enough. If this thing had 8/4, if it was an 8/4, that's threatening, right? If it was if it had taunt, it would be broken beyond belief. I wouldn't do that. I think it's a card. It's a card that deserves to exist, but it's not great. Yeah, that's my opinion in arena at least. Because no one's gonna attack into it. Like you play it and then they just go face and like okay, that was a bad idea. Choose a friendly minion, shove a copy of it into your deck. This could be useful. It's a 2-mana 2/2. Is this an aggro card? I don't know. This is like a mid-range card, maybe. Maybe it is aggro. It's aggro, and then you target an aggro card. You target a 1-drop or a 2-drop, right? Could also be mid-range. Not control. It could be control. It's hard to reevaluate. It's hard to evaluate what archetype people will play this in. In arena, this doesn't feel like I guess maybe you target your Void Lord, right? I don't know. I don't know particularly what archetype you're gonna put this in, so I'm not gonna put in an archetype. Got no archetype rating because it's flexible. How good is it? It's basically a 2-mana 2/2. That's all you really have to think about it, and that is like below average. And I don't really think people are going to be thinking so hard to draft their deck around this card. So I don't really think people are going to be using it for the effect. So it's just going to be a 2-mana 2/2. I guess you pick a 2-mana 2/2 if you're playing aggro, right? So I guess I'll put it. I'll give it the aggro thing. I don't think it's a good card though, so I don't really think you should be drafting too many of these. Sandbinder, draw an elemental from your deck. So this is a Gnomish Inventor, with more targets, like with more focused target. Gnomish Inventor is average to quite bad. I think it's like a 3.5. The fact that you draw elemental kind of makes it a little bit better. But there are also cases where you have no elementals in your deck and you pick this early up. I'm gonna give it the Gnomish Inventor treatment. I'm gonna make it a 3.5. You don't want to play this on 4, but it could be good. But on average, it will be okay, like maybe okay. So yeah. So those are the epics. What do I think about them? I'm not too impressed, to be honest. Voodoo Doll is the best one, and the other cards are like okay, like to bad. I'm not impressed by the epics. Maybe 3. Like they all seem average to maybe below average, except for this Worgen and rare cards. Phantom Militia. So people love Echo, but I don't like this one. I think this one's not good. This is the weakest Echo because 2/4 stat line is horrible in my opinion. I stand by that. 2/4 stat line is not I'm not a fan of a 2/4 stat line. And even if you turn 9, I summon 3 2/4 stat lines, and you have 1/6. You have a Boulder Fist Ogre, right? And then you play this, and you're like, okay, I'll kill one. All right, now what are you doing? And you're like, well, I guess I will trade the rest of them and ping. I don't know, like you know what I mean? Like it's not going to be impressive on turn 9. I'd rather have a 3/3 stat line or something, but 2/4 stat line is just not. Yeah, so I'm not a fan of this card. I'm gonna say it's average though, just because of the flexibility. Like it's not good, it's not great, it's not bad, it's not quite bad, but it's gonna be average. So, all Echo cards are. Well, I would say this is mid range, right? It's not. You don't really want this in control. You don't really want this in aggro. You're playing a 2/4 in aggro. Lol. Like, what are you doing? Skill Worm. If you're holding a dragon, gain +1 and rush. This is an aggro card, right? Yeah, 5/4 with rush. It's aggro. If you're holding a dragon, it's good. If you're not holding a dragon, it's average. So, the fact that the benefit for holding a dragon isn't that much better makes me think it's not that great. And you don't really want to play a 4/4 beast in most situations. So, for 4 at least. So, it's not a great card, but it could be okay, I guess. Whatever. It's not. I'm not impressed. Witchwood Grizzly. Taunt, lose 1 health for each card in your opponent's hand. So if they're playing control, you don't need to. You don't care if they're playing aggro. Ho ho ho! Welcome to the 3/7 stat line. For 5 with taunt. This looks great. Honestly, this looks really good. Yeah, this looks good. I like most situations you're gonna have five cards in their hand. I would say so. It's a 3/7. Maybe 4 cards in their hands. It's a 3/8 for 5 with taunt every time. Like it always has taunt. I like this card. I think this card is it's close to amazing. So I'm gonna give it 1.5. And especially for me, like aggressive people are not fun people. So you can deal with this. This is definitely a control card. It's not an aggro card or mid range or anything of that nature. Royal Guard, 8 mana. So I look at this card as a charged Devilsaur. Alright. I look at it as a 8/3 charged Devilsaur, basically. And I love charged Devilsaur. But I think this card is amazing. Pretty solid, like really good. Like you kill an 8-drop, and then you get a 8/3. Or you kill a 5-drop and you get a 3/8. pretty good. Pretty solid card. I don't have an issue with it at all. So I like the card. Is it control or mid range? It's probably both. It's not an aggro card, I think. It costs too much to be aggro. But you would use this in mid range, you would use this in control, so I'll give a point to both. Okay. Draw the lowest cost minion from your deck. This probably looks like an aggro card to me. Right? Cause you'll like you'll get like a flame imp or something. Or a direwolf alpha. Right? Like cards are bad stats if and also I think this card is also solid. I think this card is 2.5. Just the fact that you are drawing things that you might be able to play, and you can draw like a good aggro minion, right? Like if you're running aggro and you need something, you can draw this and play something on 5. It seems like an aggro type card to me. It could also be like control, would be such weird control. Like your lowest cards are 4, not in arena, and so you're not doing that in arena, so that's not gonna happen. It's gonna be a control. Destroy all enemy secrets. I think this card is solid. It's a decent stat line, and you get rid of secrets. I like it. Good stuff. Mid range. Good minion. Nothing sad of that. Destroy mage secrets. Sign me up. You know what I mean? Life Drinker. I think this card is pretty bad. Quite bad. It's a 4-minute 3/3, and dealing 3 damage to enemy hero while healing 3 health is like, it's probably not going to be relevant. Like you're probably going to take more damage because you play the 3/3 on turn 4 than because of the battle cry. So I'm not a fan of this card. I'm not a fan of like healing or dealing damage to your face while losing stat points. Like Knight, what's it called? The Knight. The 5 mana 4/4 deal 3 to the enemy. That card is horrible. So it's kind of the same thing. It's gonna be quite bad. I guess you'd play this in aggro, right? I mean, sure, but whatever. Like you're not really happy about it. Mad Hatter. So if this works how I imagine, this card's great. But if it doesn't work how I imagine, so you play this and then it throws 3 hats. So if you have one minion, like it's your only minion, it throws 3 hats to that one minion, or does it have to hit different targets? Because if it just throws hats to random minions, I think it's fantastic. Like buff a minion by 3/3. The other thing is you can't, like, if they have a minion on the board, you can't like buff and trade. You have to, unless you are risking your life, but you have to like trade and then buff. So but besides that, I think this card's going to be pretty good. So it's like a 6/5 stat line. And the ability to buff things. I like the card. But it's good. Yeah, I'll give it a 2. Okay. Maybe 2.5. This could be 2.5 though. You know what? I will give it. Whoa, what happened to my minion? 2.5. Just because of the inflexibility of the random hat effect could be bad, but in general, I think the card is going to be solid. What type of? This is a mid-range card, right? Yeah, or aggro. Could be aggro as well, and mid-range. Right? You have aggro, you trade, and then you play the Hatter, and then boom, you have a board. Not really for control. Like you won't have a board to do this with. So, yeah. Night Howler. If this is the only minion in your battlefield, gain +3/+3. Hell yeah, this is mid range, and this card looks sick. It's so easy to trigger this too, like. For this to be the only minion on the board, it's so easy to trigger this. Hell yeah. I think this card is probably amazing. right? Like you can win a game off of this. Like you play this on turn 4, you coin this on turn 4, boom, the game is over. Like I have a 6/6 on turn 4, deal with it, and you're like, that's not fair, you know. That's not real fair, and it's not. This card is disgusting. Yeah, very disgusting. What I think about the average of these cards, I think these cards are better than the epic cards that we saw. I do think that these cards are better than the epic cards. Probably a 2.5, I think. A little bit better than the epic cards. Of course, the neutral cards are going to be a bit weaker than class cards because they're neutral and everyone can use them. But okay, peasants. Each card is in your hand. Swap its attack and help. That's not too bad. It has lifesteal, like as a neutral card with lifesteal. Seems okay. I think it's gonna be average, right? Like you might heal for 2, you might heal for 4, but okay. I don't know. Okay, yeah. It's not a great. The lifesteal is what's making it average. Otherwise, it'd be bad because I hate the 4/2 stat line without stealth is. It's the lifesteal that really makes it a little bit better. Otherwise, it'd be below average. But because it's got the lifesteal, I'll bump you up. Rotten Apple Bomb. Oh, what do I think? Oh, this is probably an aggro card. You probably play it aggressively. I think you play this aggressively. It's not really control. Rotten Applebog. This is definitely control, by the way. I should probably just put it in there. Taunt, Death Rattle, restore 4 health to your hero. I kind of like this card. It has Taunt. I kind of look at it as the Alchemist, the Priest Alchemist, 5 mana, 4/5, heal 5 health, and you're just targeting your face and you get a bit weaker. But it has Taunt, and the Alchemist is not. So I think it's a pretty good defensive card. Better than you think if you're going for the defensive. I think it's not average. It's a bit better than average, so I'll give it a 2.5 stat line. I think that is fair. Next up, we've got Clockwork Automatron. Double the health and heal of your hero power. I'm not a big fan of this card. Like, you're paying 2 mana to double your hero power, and then it dies for free. It's not good. If it was a 5/5, it'd be better. 4/4, it's lackluster. If it was a 4/5, it'd be better too. You know, if it was 5/4, the same. 4/5 or 5/5 would be a lot better. But I think since it's a 4/4, I don't really like the card. And I don't really think you're going to be getting enough value out of the Automatron to make it worth pick. Right? Yeah. So I think it's going to be a 4. Or for me, I think it's quite bad. I don't like the card. I don't really think I'm going to be picking it up. Mech synergies don't really exist. Not a fan of this card here. Refresh your hero power. Sure. Great. It's got great stats and no drawback. Refresh your hero power. Sure. I'll take it. I think this card is great. Easy. I know Spider Tank is a great card. This is Spider Tank. Plus, sure, extra refresh. Why not? You know, I'll use it. Great card. Easy to, and this goes in everything. Also, this, I think this goes nowhere. I guess it's a control card, but yeah, it's a control card, but it's not a tool you want to be using. I don't think I'm. If you're ranked 4 and below, I'm not putting you in the rankings because you're not going to be played. Ravencaller, add 2 random run cost minions to your hand. I like this card. Give me more cards like this. More cards that add more cards. Yes, sir. I like it. I think this card is great for me, my playstyle. Add 2 random 1 cost minions. There are a lot of 1 cost minions that are super annoying. Like that you don't think about. You know, Oracle's disgusting, Gibber's disgusting, Wax Elemental could be pretty obnoxious, Flame Imp, why is that there? You get the card that has the battle cry of removing a weapon durability. You're like, wow, how good is this here? You know, and you get two options, so that's always a chance you get something relevant for your situation. I like this card. I think this card is really good. Um, it's not really an aggro card though. Um, it's not even a mid-range card. It doesn't have the stats for mid-range. This is a control card, which is interesting to say, but yeah, it is because it gives you value, and you just play it on 3. I guess get some value. It's like a Cabal Courier, you know, which I play. A bit worse though. A Swift Messenger. Each turn, this is in your hand. Swap its attack and health. So it's like a Fireball, or a better Argent Commander. Yeah. No. Oh, better Argent Commander. Lol. Better. The 4-mana 2/5 with charge. I know. I need to know what that card is off the top of my head, but I don't. So I think this card's pretty solid. Fireball for 4, right? Everyone knows that's pretty good, right? So I'm going to rate it 2. I think it's a great card. Probably pick it up. Good. This is what is this? This is mid range, right? Not aggro. Could be control too, but I think it's primarily mid range. It's the stats are deep. Rush effect is. Each time this isn't. I already know this is quite bad. Spell damage +1 is not very relevant in arena, and a 1/4 stat line for 2 is not great, and a 4/1 stat line for 2 is also not great. It's like a Dustboar. I think it'd be a Dustboar. Dustboar is not good. I mean, actually, Dustboar has gotten better recently with the absence of 2s, and people don't play early game removal, and like Priest can't deal with a 4/1. It's gotten better, but it doesn't mean it's a good card. Like, it's not something you want to take. You fight mage and they laugh at you. Oh, lol, right? But I think it's gonna be quite bad. Wormguard. If you're holding a dragon, gain +1 attack and taunt. So it's a 4/11, which is pretty good. But even if you're not holding a dragon, it's a 3/11. Not horrible. I think this card's actually pretty good. I think it's better than average, huh? Like 11 health is so annoying. If it was also a dragon, it'd be a lot better. Right? Why are these cards that you need a dragon and they're not dragons? You make the synergy so hard in arena. It's either a 2 or a 2.5. It's better than average, I think. Even without just a 3/11. Like, what card do you know that has 11 health? What card does have? I am not. It's not. Nothing's popping up in my head right now, but there's probably one exists, and I'm not talking about wild cards. I'm talking about current cards. Leave it in the chat. I'll I'll figure it out or something. Someone will figure it out. I'm. This might be a 2 actually. You know, I'm gonna go on a limb and say it is great, but it's probably between great and average. You know, yeah. Lifesteal Rush. Yeah, Lifesteal is not really doing anything when you have 1 attack. That's not how you win it. However, you can play it with buffs, right? And then it has some hope for you, right? The weakness thing about Lifesteal is that they can't attack immediately, right? So I could see why this being a bit better. Oh, this, by the way, is a control card. I should probably mention that. And I would also say this is also a control card. Like, who cares about a 1/3 stat line? So there's 2 control cards. I would say this is probably average to below average. Probably 3.5. You can make it work, but it's not average level, like baseline average, no. Swarm Dragon Egg, add a random dragon to your hand. So it's another egg card. Egg cards are questionable. And I don't think this is getting even. I don't think this is getting better. This might be 4.5 sad. Like, you need to have a buff deck. Sometimes this is amazing, but sometimes dragons aren't even good. Like, you get Temporis a lot as a dragon, and you're just like, no. If it said discover a random dragon, haha, I'd play it. Oh man, but it's not. It's not that. It's not like that. I think it's close to. It's close to the other eggs that are quite unplayable. And I'd rather it be a 0-2 than a 0-3. Right? I'd rather it die to Blizzard. I'd rather it die to a Volcanic Potion. Well, the potion's gone, but Blizzard's still there, and there's a lot of deal 2 damage. Primordial Drake and all. Primordial Drake might be elite. I'm not sure about that. Hope it's gone. I don't think it's really that great. Mars Drake, summon a 2/1 poisonous Drake Slayer. It's a 3 mana 5/4 dragon. If you can't deal with it, you don't have a minion. Kill your dragon. This is gonna be great in some classes and bad in others. Yeah. This is gonna be great in some classes. I think the classes that it's gonna be great in, it's gonna be great. So on, you know what I mean? Like, you know, if it's gonna be on, and if you're playing in other classes that can't help, that can't remove, and don't summon a lot of minions, not gonna be. It's gonna be close to quite bad because it's a 3 mana do nothing. So I think those are the 2 we're looking at. It's either going to be great or it's going to be quite bad. So figure out what classes work well with this card and then draft around it. Darkmere Moonkin. Spell damage is pretty irrelevant, and a 7 mana 2/8 is also pretty irrelevant. I would say this is a pretty easy 4. That's unfortunate. Oh, I see what's going on. Maybe unplayable, like maybe 4. I guess it's not unplayable, but it's close to it. Like, it's real close to unplayable. Like, what card are you using? Someone also mentioned that the other Moonkin has Beast Tag, and I don't think Moonkins should have Beast Tag at all. Like, they're kind of weird, but I don't really care about that really, so I'm just mentioning. Add a random 2-cost minion to each player's hand. I like it. It's I should. Well, this is a 4. This is an aggro card, right? Yeah. Oops. Aggro in here. This is unplayable. This is control. Add a random 2-cost minion to each player's hand. I like it. It's the drawback is not a drawback because both players get it, so you know, just ignore it. It's just like a 3 mana 3/4, which is great. So I like it. 3 mana 2/4, 3 mana 3/4. Give me more of those. So I will take it. Even whatever 2-cost minion, sure. I mean, we both get it, so I'm kind of neutralizing it. So it's just a 3 mana 3/4 to me. I'll take it. It does make that the opponent always has a play, but I mean, it's gonna be turn 4. Like, you don't have a play on turn 4. Like, what are you doing? You know, how are you gonna expect to win? After your hero attacks, give this minion +1/+1. It's gonna be good in the classes that have attacking heroes. It's gonna be okay in the classes that don't have attacking minions. So it's gonna be like 2.5, right? So a 3 mana 3/3 is average, and then if you can attack with it, it'll be better than average. So, and this is the mid-range card. Walnut Sprite 3/3 Echo. Yes, sir. This is what I'm talking about. Good stats, good echo effect. I love it. I think this card is fantastic. What? Come at me, brah. Come at me. Give me more of these. Great card. It works in every whatever archetype you're trying to build. You just pick it up. All right. Unpowered Steambot. Lol. 0 attack. Come on, man. Come on. I know there's a 1/7, right? So they can't be like 1/9. No power creep. Lol. But what are you doing? This card's unplayable. In a lot of situations. I would say 4.5 because you can buff it. No. I'm gonna give it 5. Screw that. It's a street trickster, but worse. Like I'm not going to say you're playing this card. You're not playing this card. You're not. I guess it has taunt, but I don't know. It's a 4-mana heal 9. No. I'm going on a limb. You're not. Don't pick this card. Don't do it to yourself. I'm not gonna give you hope here. Nope. Give your minions +1 attack. This is an aggro card, I will say, but it's not a great aggro card. But it is an aggro card. But if you can get it to work, I would say it's below average. But if you can get it to work, and in the aggro mindset, then you're doing okay. Then we've got Furious Etten. This is my boy. This is control. This is my boy. Give me the big taunts with the big stat line. I like it. I would say it's better than Etten, the other Etten, because sometimes the other Etten, no, I forgot what it's called, and just know it's an Etten. It screws you over. I remember like yesterday or 2 days ago, I got Pyros, like the mage legendary from him. I'm like, okay. How's that fair? Sometimes you get a patient assassin, right? And then you just free kill it. How's that fair? Sometimes you get Doomslayer and it's over. How's that? Well, it's over for them, Well, and you, right? If you're trying to set up, how's that fair? So I don't like the inconsistency of the other add, and I would much rather have something like this. So I like the card. I think it's. I think it's great. I will say it's great. I like it card. So this card, I do not think it's great. I think it's below average, but it's not that quite bad, but it's quite bad. I would say I would give War Golem this rating as well. Yeah. And it's good. It has the elemental tag. I think that's what's really going for it. It's got the elemental tag, and maybe that does something for you, but other than that, it's a card you don't want to draft in arena. Like you don't pick this card. But unless you have so much elemental synergy that you're like, this is gonna be great. But it's in general, you're not really going to like this card. This is probably mid range. It's too slow for control, and it's too late game for aggro. So I'll take it. Voodoo Doctor. Hey, let's go. This is what I'm talking about. Give me that 8 health. I like the card. The only issue is that no one's going to kill it. If they're trying to kill you, no one's going to kill it. And they're not going to have an 8 attack minion on the board. So it's going to take 2 turns for it to die in the minimum. And you might be dead by that point. So it's got that sad state of affairs. But other than that, it's a good card. I think it's above average. Like, I think an 8 mana 8/8 is below average, but the Death Rattle is pretty good. Like, 2.5. The Death Rattle is pretty good. Healing for 8 is very significant. Like that changes the like if you're at 20 and you play this and they can't kill you, they can't 2-shot you, they have to start going. They have to start like going for the board, because they're not gonna kill you before you stabilize with this thing on the field and die. So I like the card. I like this card. Like, but I play control, so I can find value there. Definitely cool. Definitely cool to see though. I was excited when I saw this card. I'm like, oh, could do something with that. And is that the last? It looks like the last card. Last card. Versatile Investigator. Lifesteal plus taunt. It's a 1/6 card that heals you for 6 plus 2 or something like that, right? Like, you know what I mean? It's also a demon, I guess, but it's basically, it reminds me of the formatted 1/7 taunt, right? Basically, maybe a little bit better, but similar, very similar. You need a buffish for it to really do for you. And there's the Warlock Legendary, which has the same stats, right? I don't think it has taunt, but it has the lifesteal plus 1/6, and it's absolutely garbage. I think this is gonna be quite bad as well, quite bad. And not putting it into the archetype rating, because 4 and below you don't pick up. So you know, how do you rate? You don't put in the rating. So after looking at all of these cards, I think we can average this out to like maybe 3, maybe 3.5. Like this rating is it's not as impactful as the class cards, because class cards really determine like, oh, you know, this is gonna matter, but whatever the neutral cards are don't really matter. So I don't really care what the rating are. There's a ton of bad cards dropping the rating of this down. And then if you look at the archetype rating now, do a couple space here, a couple space here, you can kind of see that there's a decent amount of, like, it's fairly balanced, right? Like there's a fairly balanced portion of aggro mid range control, right? They all got a bit of help, right? But a little bit less aggro support and a little bit more mid range and control support. And you can kind of like do you can kind of blend mid range and control. Like I kind of do that a lot. I do a little bit of mid range controlling, right? And then sometimes I'll play control and then I'll switch into mid range for the match so that I can kill them or something. Yeah. So looks like my style is going to be doing okay, especially with, you know, with the other class cards that are looking quite juicy. So I'm glad to be a control player in this meta. Ooh, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice. And that's gonna be it for me today. Thank you guys for sticking around, watching the whole thing. If you watched the whole thing, I love you guys. I guess I don't know. I don't have any like prices. 10% off. I don't got anything for that. I just really do appreciate you guys, and just let me know also that you watched the video, and I'll give you a smile. For the hat. Probably not tip for the hat, because I probably won't be wearing a hat on my stream. Also, I stream, if you guys don't know that, and you want to catch me again on Twitch TV, Educatedcollins. Type that in, and you might find me. So I will see you guys later, and have a great night.